Growing outrage and pushback this morning from San Francisco city leaders over a controversial program that gives free alcohol to homeless alcoholics. Now, the city-run initiative is called the Managed Alcohol Program, or MAP. It's been around for 4 years and has cost the city roughly $20 million. Supporters say the goal isn't to eliminate alcohol use, but rather to keep individuals at a, quote, safe level of intoxication, aiming to increase their safety and overall quality of life. But critics, like our next guest, says this is only making the problem worse, and the city should be focusing on helping these people beat their addiction. Tom Wolf is a formerly homeless recovering heroin addict from San Francisco. So first explain how this program works. Can any homeless person just walk in and simply ask for a beer?
No, that's not how it works. Basically, you have to enroll in a program, or you're identified as someone that has chronic alcoholism, usually because they've had many hospital visits in the past, et cetera. And then they're offered this program that comes with a variety of other services. Of course, it's not just giving someone free vodka all the time. They've been determined to be very, very sick with late-stage alcoholism, and the hope is that this program will keep them out of the hospital and potentially keep them alive. The way I try to frame this is that, look, I understand the concept, okay? But as someone that used to use heroin on the street, if you enrolled me in a program where they were just giving me half of the dose of heroin that I normally take every day in the hopes that I wouldn't use more, to be quite frank with you, I would probably still be on the street and still using, or I'd be dead from drug overdose at this point. So you have to really wonder, for the amount of money that the city is spending on this program, is the outcomes of the program actually worth the investment?
Here's another one of those headlines where you're like, are you kidding me? San Francisco ends $5 million alcohol delivery program to alcoholics. Let's see, alcoholics getting the booze. Yep. San Francisco makes about perfect sense. What you've got Daniel Lurie in San Francisco, the new mayor. He is cleaning things up. This is one of those programs from the pandemic where harm reduction said, oh, well, if these people are heavy boozers, there's a chance they might die if they're isolated and we can't get to them. So let's spend $5 million. Let's spend $20 million. And we'll get them some booze so that they don't die, literally. So you've got issues with alcohol withdrawal and like heroin withdrawal, any of the opiates you withdraw from, you could potentially die. And if you've been doing enough booze over the years, it's my understanding the way your body reacts, it just basically, it can shut down if, years and years and years and years and years of alcohol abuse. But let's get into it here. San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie ended a $5 million a year COVID-era addiction harm reduction program. Now, I always refer to harm reduction as all harm, no reduction. I think it is woefully misguided. It's supposed to be based on the data and the science, but look at the title with me, folks. Do you think any good AA program, which is meant to keep people sober, is going to go with, all right, San Francisco starts a $5 million alcohol delivery program to deliver booze to alcoholics? Do you think that is within the 12 steps of the program? Yeah, right? I mean, sometimes we're just living in the down under. That's all there is to it. All there is to it. We're living in Narnia. We're living in, where are we? What is going on? What is happening? Booze to alcoholics, right? It's like drugs to drug addicts. Oh, okay. Harm reduction. That's great. Now, safe injection site, which is kind of the hard narcotic version of booze delivery. It's meant to not save people from overdosing on their own. It's meant so that they don't get, infected from a dirty needle. Is any of this going in the right direction? All right, the dude just shot up heroin, but hey, he's got a clean needle, so we won't get hepatitis C. Progress. This is progressive progress. April of 2020, San Francisco Department of Health created the Managed Alcohol Program. at a time when bars and stores were closed due to the pandemic. Alcoholics would get their booze dropped off directly to them at the taxpayers' dime. I remember this, kind of, but during the pandemic, there were so many you-know-what stories out there of just absolute insanity. We're doing what? Oh, okay. It's the pandemic. Proponents argue that by directly supplying the alcoholics with booze, that it would prevent them from experiencing harsh withdrawal symptoms. So they continue drinking. I mean, I get it, right? Okay, if I had a loved one, just hammering it back, all right, and if I figured they were, in the throes of the end of their addiction, I mean, even then, don't you want to have some kind of hope for, hey, maybe they can cut down. Maybe there's a chance maybe there's a chance they extend their life. I don't know. That's the direction I would go. It's like anybody that's on drugs, that's dealing with addiction. You want them to get better. Get them into treatment. Get them the help they need. Get them to detox, the way they should. Tough one. Program lasted long after the pandemic ended. MAP serviced 55 clients, and each of them averaged $454,000 each. I'm sorry. How much? How much? $454,000? I'm going to highlight it for you because, all right, 55 clients, 20 million. You do the math, right? How much in administrative salaries did this program have? $10 million? Because booze ain't that much, folks. Booze ain't. So you got 55 clients. I think I could do that for how many years is it? 4 years. Oh, okay. All right. So 5 years. Okay. It's insanity. It is crazy insanity. The whole thing is just, you're doing what? For years, San Francisco is spending $5 million a year to provide alcohol to people who are struggling with homelessness and addiction. Doesn't make sense, and we're ending it, Lurie told the outlet. All right. It doesn't make sense, and we're ending it. Daniel Lurie, new mayor of San Francisco. Now, he is going all in on solutions that, in my opinion, are going to help San Francisco recover. And I am as critical as anybody. As somebody who's had my 27-year-old son die in Seattle of what we think was a accidental drug overdose. We don't really know. His death certificate says natural causes, even though he's a healthy 27-year-old kid. And he's dead. As a parent, I look at these programs very, very skeptically and go, well, if it would have kept my kid alive, I guess, but the bottom line is you want to get him off that stuff, right? You want to get him off that stuff. You don't want to give him more. That's like going backwards. Spokesperson for the Community Forward San Francisco nonprofit, under contract since 23, told the California Post that officials had terminated the contract. It's just absolute insanity. Lurie, elected mayor in 2024, is breaking from other West Coast cities such as Portland, Seattle, and LA by ditching the harm reduction approach. Hey, I am 100% down. You know who also is ditching the harm reduction approach and the housing first approach? Yeah, the president. The president, he's like, yeah, that's not going to work. He does an executive order. No more of that. No more of that. Back in May, Lurie signed the Recovery First Act. I'm sorry. This is the mayor of San Francisco? Recovery First Act? Oh, my word. We're getting somewhere. I don't know how far gone San Francisco is, but I'm always pulling for a city. I still pull for Seattle to make a comeback. But the direction it's going, we're not going to arrest anybody for basically any crime ever again. Open air drug use. Go for it, guys. We're not doing any homeless sweeps here in Seattle anymore because we're going to look for other alternatives that might help out the constituents more. And you're just left with, okay, the city is already in hell in a handbasket, right? It's just getting there even. It's just descending to the depths of hell. And, it's the home city here for anybody born and raised in Washington State. And to watch it just go right down the dumpers, I'm going to pull for Daniel Lurie. I just am. I don't give a damn. The mall's closing, you've got all kinds of crazy stuff going on. You got massive skyscrapers being repoed. All right. But you got the Recovery First Act. Under my administration, we made San Francisco a Recovery First city and ended the practice of handing out fentanyl smoking supplies so people couldn't kill themselves on the streets. This guy's making sense. This guy is literally making sense. And you know what? San Francisco is turning around. I repeat, San Francisco is turning around. And it's because you've got leadership that is, I hate to say it, a scooch reasonable. Of health, we like to be data-driven, based on the data and the science. Yeah, that's it. The data we have for this program really support a significant decrease in emergency medical services utilization. Having freed up the resources that were taking people to the emergency room 3, 4, 5 times a day. Now there are resources that we can use to support more people getting on the road to recovery through other services. That's where I say nonsense. I think the approach has to be that first. I think that approach has always got to be that recovery first. Whether it's folks in the homeless tents, smoking the fetty. You can't have this, we're going to go do a graduated step-up program. I think you got to do a medically induced detox, right? Get them on whatever medication you need to help them come down. Whatever you got to do there. But this whole notion that giving people the very stuff that is killing them is somehow a good idea. To me, it doesn't intuitively make any sense. And I think intuitively, it doesn't make any sense to Daniel Lurie as well. Now, the folks in San Francisco are pretty progressive. Folks here in Seattle are very progressive. When Andrea Suarez of We Heart Seattle goes out and does outreach, she is continually asking, hey, you want me to help you get you into a treatment program? You want me to help you get you into a detox and treatment program? You want me to help you? She just hammers on that, because I think that is what works. Now, those people will probably go in, come out, and reuse again. You know what I mean? It's this endless cycle. But at least you're giving people a shot at getting better. If you keep loading them up with the drugs or the booze, that ain't going to end up well, especially if you're using street drugs and you've got a chance of killing yourself, which happens all the time. San Francisco has hundreds of people a year die. So does Portland. So does Seattle. So any of these programs that are being discontinued, I'm a big, okay, all right, let's get back to reality, which is you got to moderate some people and then other people, late stage alcoholics. What are you going to do there? How are you going to handle those folks? So I get it. During the pandemic, folks couldn't get their access to booze, but the pandemic's been over for how many years? And it's still going on? It's some wild stuff. The fact that this program is still out there is just kind of one of those, okay, yeah, didn't we end the pandemic in like 2021, 2022, something like that? It's been enough years, right, where it's gone by, where you're like, why is this still happening? Well, because it's San Francisco and they're so progressive, and Seattle's the same thing. Who knew, right? So program over, podcast over. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.